Alright, this is Coming with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and this is the world's first. It's the first time you guys are going to see it on YouTube, a demonstration of the all-new Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now, what's a whole slow juicer, John? You might be thinking. You know, I've seen a lot of slow juicers, all the different brands make vertical auger juicers. This world's first right here, you guys are seeing it first on my channel where I'm demonstrating it and showing it to you guys. The special thing about this, unlike any other slow juicer in the world at this point, 3-inch wide, large, whole fruit and vegetable feed chute. So what does this mean for you? This means more convenience. You know, many of you guys may be familiar with the wide mouth feed chute juicers, and many of you guys like that because you can put whole apples. Well, guess what? With the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you could also fit whole apples and a whole lot of other produce in there so that you can get healthier. What I'm going to do today is share with you more about this Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, juice a whole bunch of stuff, and not even have to use a knife to prepare. That is the beauty of the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. You will virtually not have to use your knife except on some leafy greens and maybe some celery. But for the majority of the things you'll be juicing, carrots, apples, cucumbers, romaine hearts, even beets, you're going to juice beets just fine. You don't have to do any cutting. You will have to use a pusher in some instances. Now, Kuvings is making the vertical slow juicer for many years now, and this is their latest design. So they've built on their standard smaller chute vertical juicer, and they basically made it even better by making it a wide feed chute. They have actually a special patent on the screw inside the machine, which makes this work. This is different than any other vertical slow juicer out there. You can't just take a vertical slow juicer, put a wide feed chute, and expect it to work. It's not. It's going to clog. It's going to jam up. They've specifically designed this screw that has a patent on it to accept the produce and work amazingly. It does. I've been testing this machine all day yesterday, and it worked without a hitch. As soon as I get one of these machines, it's going to be my #1 juicer that I'll be using on my counter because it is so convenient. And you know, what's the point of using a juicer if you buy one and it sits on your counter? Because you've got to sit there and push the produce in. You know, or because you dread cutting all the produce up into little small pieces and feeding it in. With this, it's going to actually reduce your juicing time, because think about it. When you're cutting produce to put in the juicer, you know, not only are you losing some of the valuable juices and nutrition inside the fruit and vegetable you're juicing, and because it's coming out on your cutting board and that's not ending up in your juice, you're also, when you're cutting, oxidizing. So we all know if you take an apple and you cut it up, right, you leave the apple on your counter for a couple hours, it's going to turn brown. Hopefully you're not cutting your apples and leaving on your counter for hours before you juice them, but even within, you know, a half hour by the time you cut your apples and you're ready to juice them, you know, there's some oxidation occurring, and that's going to lower the nutrition. With the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, no cutting is required, so literally you're going to be able to put whole apples in and get the most amount of nutrition in the juice that you're making. And that's the beauty of this machine. Also, this machine has about a 3 horsepower equivalent of motor, which is very powerful, and they've also upped the torque on this machine to really have the power to snap apples and to snap carrots to get them to feed into the juicer, because when you're putting in big piece of produce, this one needs to be more powerful than the standard machines that can accept, you know, a smaller amount of produce at a time. In addition, this unit has a nice 10-year warranty. I always encourage you guys to buy a juicer with a long warranty. A long warranty is your assurance that the machine is going to be around for years to come and that you'll be able to juice for the next, in this case, 10 years without having to worry about if it breaks and if you'll be out of juice one day, or, you know, if something happens. Because, you know, juicing is the most important thing you can do to increase your health. The fact of the matter is clear. Most Americans simply do not eat enough fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, it makes it easy possible to include more fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet. Even if you're eating, you know, other stuff during the day, at least getting some fresh fruits and vegetables in rather than none is much better. And I like that it makes it really simple. In addition, besides juicing the standard vegetables, we're going to be making romaine lettuce green juice today. It'll also juice the fruits. So it's amazing juicing fruits with a wide feed chute because once again you don't have to cut. In addition, there will be an attachment available to do frozen banana sorbets. So, I'm into getting you guys to eat as much fruits and vegetables as you can, and this machine definitely makes it possible. So without further ado, let's get into actually showing you guys how to juice whole in the Cummins Whole Slow Juicer. Super easy. We will have to use a pusher a little bit to kind of get the stuff to go in the machine as needed. This juicer works in a very simple principle. Some people may call it a masticating juicer. I tend to call it a single auger slow juicer, and that's completely different than a masticating juicer. If you look up masticating in the dictionary, it means chewing. This machine does not chew. It literally crushes and squeezes all the juice out, and it does that at slow 80 RPMs or revolutions per minute. What this means is you're going to maximize the amount of nutrition in the juice. Due to this special design, it allows the juice to come out the front of the machine, and it has this special stopper here to prevent leakage and drifts, and also to use it as a mixing feature to mix juices and other things inside the machine, and the pulp comes out over on this side. So it's very simple and easy to clean up after you're all done. It also has inside the machine an automatic wiping blade system. So this is like the windshield wipers in your car. Imagine if your car didn't have windshield wipers. You wouldn't be able to see in the rain. Well, with the wiping blade on the inside of the machine, what it does, it literally keeps the screen clean to assure you're going to get the highest amount of juice out of the produce you're juicing. Because if the screen gets clogged, then the juice is not flowing through there. One of the challenges with all vertical auger juicers and slow juicers in general is that they tend to make a lot of pulp in the juice. So you will need to purchase an additional strainer if you wanted to reduce some of the pulp. So be aware of that. I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and turn this machine on. You guys could hear how quiet it is. That's another thing I like about the slow juicers. Those high-speed juicers, it could sound like an airplane taking off in your kitchen. Not with the Cummins Whole Slow Juicers. Nice and silent. So you could juice, when your kids are asleep, when your mate is asleep in the other room, when your roommates are asleep. You're not going to wake them up early in the morning. So there we go, we have this turned on, and this is the beauty of this machine, right? Here's all the produce here. I'm not using the knife to cut any of it. I'm putting it in all whole. First, we're going to juice a cucumber. And you could use whole cucumbers up to 3-inch in diameter. We're going to just drop it in the machine, push it just a little bit down in there. Because the cucumber is so soft, we're going to go ahead and use the pusher. We're lining up the dots, and it's going to just go right in the machine and spin off the last and juice all the delicious cucumber. Alright, so we got that entire cucumber juice. Now what you're seeing here is that inside that one whole cucumber, it juiced about 300 milliliters of juice, and that's probably about, like 9 ounces or so. And we have the stopper plugged, so now we're going to undo the stopper and look at all that fresh cucumber juice coming out of the Cummins Whole Juicer. Next, we're going to juice a cucumber that you guys may not know about. These guys are my favorite. This one's actually from my very garden. This is called a lemon cucumber. I enjoy juicing and growing the lemon cucumbers much more than the standard cucumbers. These guys do not have the bitter skin. They also tend to be a little bit sweeter than the standard cucumbers. Now, they don't taste like lemons. They just kind of look like them. Plus, they're really simple and easy to juice. Better than juicing long fruits and vegetables in the Cummins Whole Slow Juicer. It's best to juice things like this, nice round things. So literally what we're going to do is drop this guy in there, push it past the safety cutting blade, and drop it in. And what's really cool is, and I'll show you guys a close-up on this, once you put something in the machine, you're going to see it kind of just get chewed up inch by inch inside the machine and totally get accepted down. I do not recommend, there's something in there, jamming the pusher down in there. If you do use the pusher, you want to just do a nice pumping action up and down. The other thing you'll notice is that on this pusher, when you do line up the white dot with the white dot and it goes in, it's going to kind of go in and spin because it kind of needs to not push the produce straight down because the auger's turning. It needs to kind of position it and make the vegetable or fruit you're going kind of turn into the juicer so that the auger could grab it and suck it in the machine. So that's a little bit different than most vertical augers. But as you guys can see, there's nothing left in the feed chute, and we have a lot of delicious cucumber juice in. Next one we're going to juice is romaine hearts. Romaine hearts are one of my favorite things to juice. The romaine hearts we're juicing primarily for the nice water-rich stalk down here. And yes, of course, we're going to get some of the juice out of the leafy greens. Leafy greens are one of the most important things you guys should be juicing. And with the Kuvings whole slow juicer, it's going to do an amazing job because I will not have to cut this up. Check it out. We're going to feed it with the leaf side first. The whole thing right into the machine. Once again, we're just going to take our pusher, line up the dots, gently push this guy right in, goes right in, and check it out. We're making some delicious lettuce leaf juice. One of the things I recommend when making a green juice, you want to add something for sweetness. Many people cannot handle straight greens, although the lettuce and cucumber is a nice mild combination that's going to be really good. You also want to add something like apples for sweetness. If you are juicing apples, I highly encourage you guys to pick out the Granny Smith apples when juicing in any vertical or a single auger style machine. The Granny Smith apples seem to retain their texture better. What does this mean? They don't get all soft and mushy. If you're juicing soft and mushy apples that you could like press into and your thumb will make an indentation, then you're going to make more of an apple sauce in the slow machines. That's just the design of them. So you want to get Granny Smith, and you want to get nice firm apples no matter what kind of apple you get. So we're just going to drop one whole apple in here, and we're just going to go ahead and push it past the little safety cutting blade. It kind of puts a hole in it, and as you guys can see, it's rotating around in the machine, kind of grabbing it one piece at a time. It's kind of twirling around and taking bites and bites like we would take a bite out of it, and juicing it. And this is very important for the juicer to work properly. It's not just taking the whole apple and sucking it in and smashing everything. It's taking one bite off at a time, and it's juicing it in a slow manner. Does an amazing job. Next, we're going to go ahead and take another apple. So I think we have a Gala apple, nice and firm and crisp. Once again, drop that in the machine. Gently push it in past the safety cutting blade there. And let the machine work at it. Now, we're not sitting there just shoving it in, because if you shove things in too fast into any vertical slow juicer, it's going to basically ensure you get more pulp in your juice, and it may actually cause some blockages. So remember, even though you have a wide feed sheet on this machine, you want to keep it slow, and you want to slow down a little bit, and not just jam stuff in as fast as you can, right? Slow down. It's good for your health. The last thing we're going to juice today are actually whole beets. So this is really cool. Many people always ask, John, can the vertical slow juicers juice beets? They absolutely can. And with the Kuvings whole slow juicer, you don't even need to cut your beets. And one of the cool things is we're actually going to juice the beet greens at the same time we're juicing the beet. We're just going to put it in. Now, normally, I recommend that for all leafy greens and celery, you need to cut them up into small little pieces so that it does not clog the outlet feed chutes on any vertical slow juicer. Now, because we are juicing the beets and the leafy greens at the end of this juicing session, if it does block up the hole, it's not that much of a consequence. The consequence is if you did this in the beginning, then your hole gets clogged, and then you try to juice everything else, then it's not going to work properly. So check it out, one whole beet into the Kuvings whole juicer. Alright, drop it right in there, taking chunks of that beet, smashing it, and literally crushing and squeezing all the juice out, and check it out, sucking all those leafy greens right in without even having to use the pusher. Now that's amazing. And check it out, we're getting that nice, delicious, dark beet juice coming out. Many athletes these days want to drink some beet juice because it has to do something with increasing your athletic performance. I think that's great. I'd rather do like an apple beet juice because it's a lot more mild. Juicing straight beets can get pretty strong. So checking down in the feed chute there, it looks like most of the produce in there has gotten juice. It's done an amazing job. If you do see any produce residue inside the feed chute, don't be tempted to shove your hand in. Oh, I could just get that in, or I could use a knife to push that into the machine to get it all juiced. Only use your pusher once again to dislodge any produce. Another thing you may want to use is like a carrot or something to kind of shove all the produce that's stuck up in this area to get it in, and then at the same time also juice the carrot. I mean, this has done an amazing job. Let's go ahead and turn this guy off. One of the things I like about the little stopper here is that once you're done juicing, you're going to push the stopper in. This will prevent your juicer from dripping on your countertop. Alright, so now that we have our fresh juice, next thing to do is to try it out. So we got a little glass here. You know, it's nice to use a wine glass or some other glass to pour your juices in. You check it out. Nice, fine consistency on this green juice. This is going to be fairly sweet because, once again, we did the romaine and the cucumber, which is nice and mild. We did some apples for some sweetness and some beets for the nice red color. I encourage you highly, actually, to drink this instead of drinking wine. Juice deliciousness made in the all-new Kuvings whole juicer. Now, this juicer is not yet available, so don't, say, John, well, how can I order that machine? It's not going to be available until the first part of 2014. So if you are in the market for a slow juicer, you may want to wait for it. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay tuned for updates when I juice with the Kuvings whole juicer and other juicers so you can see how it performs. At this point, I love the Kuvings whole slow juicer. It makes juicing a breeze much more than ever before. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. And what we're going to do today is simply a juice off. Good old-fashioned juice off. We're going to compare two different vertical auger style juicers and juice 2.5 pounds of the baby